important series, 300 questions for RBI Grade B exam, and this is the 13th video. You must do all these questions. If you want to watch at 1.5x speed, that is also fine, but you must go through these questions because it will give you a real example of what kind of questions are going to come in the RBI Grade B exam. I am continuing with important one from the Budget and Economic Survey. This is the question I asked last time. Which of the following statement are not correct in regard to the budget 23-24, the recent one? Per capita income is 1.97 lakh. Government to launch Atmanirbhar Clean Plant Program. The PM Pranam scheme to be launched. The correct option, many of you have actually answered it rightly. Here will become none, because see, this is the question not correct. Be very careful when you are doing it in the exam, that you shall not do these kind of small mistakes. Sometimes you know, but you have not read it properly, you missed this knot, and then you attempted the wrong option. It shall not happen with you. It is very important to understand, right? So this is correct. 1.97 lakh per capita income, and also Atmanirbhar Clean Plant Program is to enhance the yield of the horticultural crops, disseminate and adopt climate resilient varieties, and to protect the ecosystem through proactive virus and disease control measures. And also PM Pranam scheme to be launched. It is also mentioned here in the budget. Okay. Which of the following is not one of the major economic challenge that pose threat to the global growth according to the economic survey, the recent one, 23? I would say it is a simple question, but the options may confuse you. COVID, Russia-Ukraine conflict, monetary tightening by some nations, excessive aid to Ukraine. All of the above are major challenges. So excessive aid to Ukraine, who is really going to say that it is a challenge for the growth? So that becomes the correct answer here. COVID-19 pandemic notified by WHO in January 20 was the first challenge. These points are important when you are going to write anything in descriptive. These discussions, the major global challenge. 2 years later, global economy was recovering from the pandemic-induced output contraction. That time, Russia-Ukraine conflict broke out in February 2022, triggering a swing in the commodity prices and thus accelerating existing inflationary pressure. We are still going through this. RBI is still trying to manage the inflation, and so is the Fed Reserve. This posed the second challenge. After that, the third challenge emerged when the nation undertook monetary tightening to control the inflation, starting from the Fed Reserve. Historically, Fed Reserve has, like, if you see last 15 months, they have increased the benchmark rate 10 times, right? So this time only they have paused it, but still they are saying we are hawkish overall to rein the inflation. Monetary tightening also drove capital flows to the safe haven US market. When US increases the interest rate, the global money starts going to the to the US, because US is considered to be the safest market. Whatever they have invested, say in India or China, if they are getting the similar kind of return in US, automatically the capital inflow will go towards US. So the developing economies will get less. So that contributed to rising sovereign bond yield and depreciation of most currencies against the USD. You must have seen for rupee also. The consequent increase in borrowing cost also stressed high level of public and private debt, threatening financial system. So these 1, 2, 3 point are important when you are talking anything about the global economic scenario today. In many descriptive answers, so that is the advantage of reading economic survey. If you understand it well, so you will get Indian perspective 1, you will also get global perspective. Very well covered, to the point, factual, powerful writing. Coming to the next question. Which of the following scheme of the government contributed towards inclusive growth of India? MNREGA, PM Kisan, PM Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana. I think this one, what you will call a simpler one, quite simpler question. So here, all of the schemes, growth is inclusive when it creates job. What is inclusive growth? Both fiscal and financial resources confirm that employment level have risen in the current financial year. The periodic labor force survey shows that the urban employment rate for people aged 15 years and above declined from 9.8% in the quarter ending September 21 to 7.2% one quarter later, that is September 22. The scheme implemented by the government under MNREGA has rapidly creating more assets in respect of the works on individual land than in any other category. In addition, schemes like PM Kisan, which benefit the household covering half of the rural population, and PM Garib Kalyan Yojana have significantly contributed for improving the employment, reducing the poverty. I think this one is simpler one. The economic survey projects a baseline GDP growth of what in real terms से simple factual question. ठीक है, आपको याद ही रखना पड़ेगा ऐसा डेटा, और कोई शॉर्टकट हो नहीं सकता ना इसका. So this is 6.5%. Baseline GDP growth of 6.5% in real terms. The projection is broadly comparable to the estimate provided by World Bank, IMF, ADB, RBI. The actual outcome of the GDP growth will probably lie in the range of 6 to 6.8% depending on where it goes. Number is 6.5 here. The country's retail inflation had crept above the RBI's tolerance in January 2022. I just mentioned about what is RBI tolerance level. RBI is still working on managing inflation at 4%. That is the level RBI wants to bring it, though the range is 2% to 6%. Several times I have repeated this, but very important data. Target range of 10 months before returning the below upper end and end of the target range in November 22. What is the retail inflation target upper end? Now you know the answer discussed. Okay, so we know that it is 6%. The RBI's tolerance range is 2 to 6. RBI wants to keep it at 4%, right? So the target for RBI is given like that, 4 plus minus 2%. The banking system, which had accumulated bad debt during the period of economic resurgence after 1991, was supported through the deregulation of interest rate and enactment of the SARFAESI Act. So question here is, in which year SARFAESI Act has been enacted? When it was passed? If you even know the SARFAESI Act, it will be written 2002. SARFAESI Act 2022. What is SARFAESI? Securitization and reconstruction of financial assets and enforcement of security interest act. इसका मीनिंग समझ में आता है? वो भी समझना जरूरी है, because if you understand securitization, you will understand this. So securitization क्या है कि any asset you convert it into security. That also came from this SARFAESI Act. Securitization and reconstruction of financial asset. Financial asset is like for a bank, it is loan, say housing loan portfolio. Some bank has say 5,000 crore rupees housing loan portfolio, want to convert into security, or maybe reconstruction of that portfolio into some other asset class, and enforcement of the security interest, whatever interest payment are due. So all that are covered under SARFAESI 2002 में आया था. The national infrastructure pipeline was launched with 6,835 infrastructure projects with a projected infrastructure investment of amount है. Government scheme are more useful for phase 1, उससे भी ज़्यादा ESI. तो वहाँ पर इस टाइप के क्वेश्चन आ सकते हैं. दीज अमाउंट, तो इट इज 111 लाख करोड़. आसान है ना याद करना. NIP नेशनल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पाइपलाइन 6,835 infrastructure project and cost of 111 lakh crore, and it has expanded over 9,000 project across 35 subsectors, covers economic and social infrastructure project jointly funded by the central government, state government and private sector. So sometimes this kind of question may come, who are going to fund, who are going to promote this? So all three, central, state, private sector. Ayushman Bharat provides health coverage of dash per beneficiary family per annum to poor and vulnerable families. अगेन ए वेरी फैक्चुअल क्वेश्चन, आरबीआई ग्रेड बी में आते हैं ऐसे, अगर स्पेशली आप यूपीएससी की तैयारी कर रहे हो और सोचो ऐसे, हाँ जी आते हैं यहाँ पे ऐसे क्वेश्चन. आयुष्मान भारत प्रोवाइड्स हेल्थ कवरेज ऑफ 5 लाख per beneficiary per family of to poor and vulnerable families under प्रधानमंत्री सुरक्षा बीमा योजना. रिस्क कवरेज ऑफ dash lakh for accidental death and complete disability and dash lakh for partial disability is given to the beneficiaries of प्रधानमंत्री सुरक्षा बीमा योजना. कितना अमाउंट है? सो फॉर accidental death it is 2 lakh and partial disability is 1 lakh, right? So death and complete disability 2 lakh, otherwise ये है 1 lakh for the partial disabilities given to the beneficiaries. पीएम स्वनिधि अलाउड स्ट्रीट वेंडर्स, किसके लिए? स्कीम का नाम पता लग गया अभी. सी दिस कैन बी एन एग्जाम क्वेश्चन है. आई ऑलवेज से ये जो 300 क्वेश्चन है ना, इसमें आप 3000 क्वेश्चन कर लोगे. तो पीएम स्वनिधि किसके लिए है? वेंडर्स के लिए, स्ट्रीट वेंडर्स के लिए. टू अवेल एन इनिशियल लोन ऑफ, कितने रुपए का लोन है इसमें? ये भी सिंपल क्वेश्चन है, फैक्चुअल है, 10,000 रुपए का. पीएम स्ट्रीट वेंडर्स आत्मनिर्भर निधि स्कीम, पीएम स्वनिधि का फुल फॉर्म हो गया ये. सेंट्रल सेक्टर स्कीम लॉन्च ऑन June 1st 2020 to empower street vendors by extending working capital up to 10,000 rupees with a 1-year tenure and free onboarding beneficiaries on digital payment platforms. Beneficiaries are also eligible for the second tranche of the loan up to rupees 20,000 with 18 months tenure after timely repayment of the first loan. पहला लोन 10,000 का वापस करो 1 साल में, अगले बार 20,000 का लेके जाओ 18 महीने के लिए. प्रधानमंत्री उज्ज्वला योजना वाज लॉन्च इन विच ईयर? ये क्वेश्चन है. एज ए फ्लैगशिप स्कीम, इस स्कीम के बारे में आपको मालूम ही होगा. क्लीन कुकिंग फ्यूल सच एज एलपीजी अवेलेबल टू रूरल and deprived household which were otherwise using traditional cooking fuels such as firewood, coal, cow dung etc. ईयर आपसे पूछा है, आप ये मुझे कमेंट में लिख के बताइए. दिस इज ए सिंपल वन, बट इफ यू पार्टिसिपेट देन you will learn, you will progress, you make mistake, you will improve and तभी जाके आपका selection होएगा. You have any questions to us, you can ask in the comment. See you in the next video. Please subscribe to iExam for 50% faster preparation.